I just had the most profound experience my entire life. And I was completely lucid. I was sober. I feel like a lot of people that go through like ayahuasca ceremonies, I feel like that just happened to me last night. I did a spell, and it was just a simple money spell that I normally would do, but I hadn't done it in a while. I hadn't done one of these in a minute, actually. And while the candles were burning, I had 3 candles, and I turned off all the lights, and I put on my headphones, and I started dancing to just normal music, that I would normally listen to. I have a pretty spacious studio apartment, and so I have quite a lot of space for dancing, and it's a hardwood floor, so I dance. I haven't in a while, and I felt compelled to, and I went to do it, and it was like I connected with the universe in the most profound way. I was doing these gestures, like they were, I don't know, almost like symbols in a way. And I was consciously doing it, like I knew what I was doing. And it was almost like I knew how to do magic and rituals from a past life. Like I didn't really have to study this. I just know what to do intrinsically. And it was really profound because I started dancing and I could feel my kundalini rising. And I knew it was going to be potent. I just knew it. And I burned the petition. I went and it burned the petition spell. And I knew it was going to be intense. I just knew. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't have to know. I just have to know that that's the universe's way of hearing me, is magic. And anyway, it's just like a typical ritual that most people would do. It's pretty basic anyway. I went to go meditate in my recliner, and I fell asleep. And I slept all the way through the night in the recliner. And that's also not typical. I don't normally do that. And all of these things I haven't done in months. And I had a dream of my twin flame. And it was the most profound one I've ever had. It was the first time that I had no anger towards him at all. And I saw everything so vividly. It was so unreal. It was all lucid. My entire dreaming, the whole night was lucid. I went so many places. I met so many people. I learned so much in one night. And I know that it's over between us, and it was really the heaviest love I've ever known. It's the deepest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I knew that our interactions was actually impacting my livelihood, my money, my ability to provide for myself. My twin flame and I have we hated each other for 3 years. And I cursed him, and he cursed me, and we did nothing but
cause each other's pain for 3 years. And in the dream, I finally told him I love him. I've never told him that really, and I forgave him. And it was like the most therapeutic encounter like I've ever had with him. And I've had a lot of lucid dreams with him, a lot of astral travel, a lot of telepathy. Like, I've had a lot of things happen in 3 years, and this takes the cake. And it was really strange. There was another dream that we had together where I was on stage, and I was a singer, and he's a musician, so it makes sense. This is a very poignant dream. And I was on stage in front of what felt like hundreds of thousands of people, and he was supposed to meet me on stage to sing a duet, and he didn't show up. And it was because he was going to jail, spiritual prison. And I had to tell everybody in the crowd. And we were all so disappointed, all of us, because he was, obviously loved and adored by everybody in the crowd too. So I had to break the news that he wouldn't be performing with me anymore. And it was like, I don't know, it was the most surreal feeling. I even paid tribute to him and sang one of our songs that we made. We not in real life, in 3D. I've never written music with him, but in the astral plane or the 5D, wherever this was, I don't know. I sang a tribute song, and the whole crowd was singing it with me, and we were basically, just like sending him off, and I've never loved him more. And sometimes it scares me how much one girl can love someone. I don't like the feeling. I don't like how I feel. That love for 3 years has busted my heart wide open. So now I can experience so much love from the universe. I've been purified through all of it. I've paid off karmic debt. Oh, and here's a black fly. I hadn't seen him in my apartment, and he landed on my hand. Wow, there's a fly on my hand right now. Oh my God. There's a fly on my hand. There was not a fly at all in my apartment. I killed one the other day. This fly literally, it landed on my hand. And I think that is what I'm talking about. The kind of universal love that you feel in everything, in everyone, in every creature, in every experience, in everything. And so many people watched me as I experienced black magic, but really it's not black magic, it's just magic. And it was opening my heart wide open. I've never loved anybody like I've loved him. I've never felt I've never felt like this before. Like there, I know deep down that it's not necessarily a good thing to be talking about Lord of the Flies and like flies and black magic is real. It is. It's not like a good thing, I think, that it exists, but it does exist. And even experiencing it, you get to a point where you're like, but that's even love though. Like, I know that it's weird to talk about how these flies used to kind of harass me. They did. The whole time I've been in this apartment, basically, I've been experiencing the Lord of the Flies kind of thing, and I've talked about it. But it's not just that. It's also spying, monitoring spirits. It's just everything. It's everything. And I didn't want to be that girl that says I love it, but I do love it. And that's why I stayed so long. That's why I didn't fight it off, because it felt like I wasn't lonely. It felt like, I mean, that fly wasn't in my apartment until 5 minutes ago, in my opinion. I didn't know I had a fly in here. And I almost feel like I allowed it because I felt less lonely. Like I knew that he was doing it. And I was okay with it. And that's why everything in my 3D world kind of started deteriorating. But in a way, I was okay with the devil's antics. He's not the devil, but he used nefarious forces. And the flies, that's just a symptom. The train outside that I talk about how that train is black magic. It's a symptom. It's not black magic. It's a symptom. I stayed so long. I was okay with it. I felt less lonely. But I was in love with an illusion. I wasn't in love with somebody in the 3D physically next to me. I was in love with how black flies would show up when I needed love the most, and a train would come by when I was talking to my friends about magic, and it would just be so... I fell in love with magic is what happened. I fell in love with the universe. I also fell in love with darkness, though. But now, the beauty in that is that I love everyone's darkness. There's not one soul that's too dark for me to love now. There's not one demon that I don't want to hear go to the light. You know, I listen to myself now, and when I transmute some things, I do like exorcism, self-performed exorcism. I've done several in the last few years. About 3 years I'd say 4 years I was able to do it. But it started when I was smoking weed. I would get so high vibrationally that lower forces that were stuck in the 3D environment. So like, if my husband was home, there would be things latched onto him. And I remember one time the shadow figure took over my body while I was high. And I had to do an exorcism. And that was the first time I'd really ever done one. And I realized then what I can do. But it took me a really long time to believe in myself. And now, when I do these exorcisms on myself, it's when I take on clients' darkness. And not only clients, but also my twin flame. But the problem was I was only ever taking on his. I couldn't take on clients, And so my business kind of, I stopped manifesting clientele. I stopped being able to help everybody else get out of hell. I could only help him. And I couldn't even help him. You can only help those who want to help themselves, you know? And so my business dried up, and I had financial difficulties, and I'm basically paying for that now. There are consequences to dealing with dark things, and I don't want to ever deal in the dark again. I don't want to ever touch the dark again, but I want to love the dark. I just don't want to sit there and poke and prod at it and be like, hey, what can you do? Like, what's this black fly? Like, how deep does this go? And I don't want to enable it and entertain it anymore, because I see what it did to me. It caused my destruction. And tonight, this last 8 hours, I basically had the most profound experiences of my entire life. And I didn't take any drugs, no alcohol, not even a cigarette. I haven't had anything. All I used was magic. And my subconscious mind spoke to me so many times. I remember in another dream, I was telling my twin what I really want out of life, and how I used to have one path with him. I wanted it. I wanted what we were going to have. I wanted that so bad. I kept seeing it in my mind's eye. I was trying to manifest it for years, and I know he was too. And I don't know, it can't be a toxic love, you know? It's just, we would have influenced too many people, and together it would have been disastrous. And the universe couldn't have brought us together like that. Not where we were at. Twin flames in union would have, at a low vibration like that, you know, it wouldn't have been good. So I needed to go through 3 years of loneliness and find me. Find me, because once I find me, I find that everyone is me, and I am everyone, and I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. So I can't be with a man who would hurt anyone either, and that's not who he is. He would never hurt a soul, but he's also unconscious and might not understand that he is hurting souls. So spiritual prison is the best that he's got at this point. Spiritual prison is all that the universe can offer him right now. And it's over. It's over. And I'm saying this because I know so many of you have the same issue going on right now. I can't pretend to know your story, and I'm sorry that I don't. But I know how tempting it can be to deal with the darker things, you know? To fall madly in love with addicts and the bad boys and the ones with the serious issues, you know? It could be so tempting to get involved, and you stay involved. You stay involved because you don't know that love would do something different. You don't know yet that love would say, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to enable that. I don't want to encourage that. I not only want to empower and encourage people to leave toxic things, but I want someone in my life who would encourage me to keep going on that journey. And that is something my twin never did. He didn't push me to be better. I pushed me to be better. And until the end of this contract, the soul contract, I didn't realize that he might not be my twin flame. I just assumed because he's everywhere, and even in my apartment right now, he's everywhere. I assumed that this connection we have that is so deep and so profound, and it literally spans universes. We find each other everywhere, in every dream. It seems to be a haunting. I just assumed he was my twin flame because of that closeness, you know? But as I really think about what a twin would do, they would push you to be better. But I always thought that that meant somebody would like cheer you on and say, hey, I'm really proud of you. Keep going, you're doing great. But maybe in this instance, somebody pushing you to be better is really becoming the darkness for you so that you learn to combat that darkness and subdue it and overcome it within yourself. Because a true twin flame would love you unconditionally in a way that is so profound, they would encourage you to better yourself. And I don't know, in this instance, I guess he did want me to better myself, but not in the way that I think you would typically see in a coach or an empowered person. No, it's quite the opposite. It was simply due to the lack of love I was receiving from him that I learned to love myself. I didn't receive really any love, but in a way, I did. In a way, it's the most profound love I've ever experienced. Because I got to see how the universe works, how magic works, spells and rituals and energy cords and angels and fallen angels and demons. And I got to see the most profound things that a soul could ever witness. And I am grateful. Like, I've never been grateful for it until now. I wasn't grateful, I was angry. I was angry that he was stealing my thoughts and my time and my energy, my resources. I was angry. But I'm not angry anymore. I'm grateful. A big reason why I got to this point was because I stopped my live streams. He and others were haunting me on my lives, and it was killing me. I had basically no energy to myself. I was trying to help clients and I couldn't do so because his energy was there and it was so prevalent. It was the most prominent energy I could feel, so I would always tune into it and become him. A distorted version of him in my mind that I kept perpetuating. It's like until you get away from someone, you can't change how you see them. So every time he was there, I'm so psychically in tune to who he is that I just knew it was him instantly when he'd walk in, when he'd join the chat. I just knew. And there are darknesses. And it's all because I painted a view of who he is. He was always Lucifer to me, you know? He was always Lucifer. And I love Lucifer. And I know a lot of you may not understand that, but that's okay. I understand that. And I understand darkness, and I love darkness. I love the light. I love both. You can't be living in the light without having understood your shadow. I love everything about him. And I will always love him. It's the deepest love I've ever known. A kind of love that I thought would never end. And it will never end. It feels surreal, but I ended the contract today. I did Reiki when I woke up. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I had to pray while I was doing it because I couldn't sustain myself. Like, I wanted to quit and give up while I was doing it. Like, I remove cords at the root using Reiki. So I do energy work and I remove cords at the root, and I almost couldn't make it through. I had to pray. And God has watched me suffer for so long. No one has seen it. No one sees the suffering. You only see what I want you to see. And I've been alive 33 years, and I've been suffering for 33 years. And so is he. We incarnated together. I had a past life. It wasn't a past life, it was a pre-life vision Spirit gave me. And it was he and I incarnating. We both agreed to come here right now. And I remember being told there were 2 babies that were being born in the world, and a spirit guide brought them to us. They were like spirit in spirit, and these babies were shown to us. Would you like to contractually agree to come here to Earth right now to do this? And we both agreed. And over the course of the 3 years that I've known him in the 3D, he has been consistently telling me, we are healers. We came, we suffer, so others don't have to. And I always believed him. He was the first person to ever tell me I was a healer. I always believed him, and I know in my soul that he's right. But I felt like such a fraud when I couldn't heal myself. I can't empower and lead and help others when I can't even empower, lead, and help myself. And that's exactly what an Aries is supposed to do. We're supposed to be courageous and do bold things and show others it can be done. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't get out of his grasp. And I felt like such a fraud. And so my business failed last year because of it. Well, last year it was really good. This year it tanked. And I really just started to see myself as a fraud. And I had like imposter syndrome, and I started to feel like I'm not a good healer. I'm not really powerful, or I would be able to get out of his grasp. But I now see I'm out of his grasp. I've never had this kind of love for anyone ever in my life. I hope one day, because of all the pain that opened my heart chakra so wide to love everybody on the planet, I hope that one day I find a love that fills this heart the way I feel others, because My heart is too open now. The way that I love everybody's demons, that is the ultimate sign of a divine person, right? You as God, you can love even the darkest. That's divine. That's unconditional love. And if I can do that with anyone I ever meet, that means I have a huge heart chakra. You know, it's fully open and exposed. I just hope one day I can find that kind of love that is just, I don't know, it's so real. It transcends illusion, and it helps one transcend the mind and transcend this dimension. And if I wouldn't have seen how willing I was to love even someone that hurt me, I never would see how unconditionally loving I am. And I would never see that I am divine. If I am divine, I am love, I'm unconditional love, then that's what I deserve. And I'm not saying that my twin flame wouldn't have been the one to give it to me, because maybe one day, in one lifetime, in one dimension, whatever, maybe he's out there loving me, and that's why I feel so pulled. But right now, he's loving himself. And that's a good thing, because that's how it all starts. You love yourself. And then you find yourself. And then you free yourself. And then you free others. I love him. And I know that I have talked about him so badly, so poorly on my channel. And in this journey for 3 years, I've been vlogging my experience. I talked about him so badly. I told everybody how he's a narcissist and an asshole and he's just so mean and cruel. And you know, those things were true at the time, I feel. But now I see him differently. And I'm allowed as a human being to see things differently, to grow and evolve. I'm allowed to think that he is pure, unconditional love. And that even in the book of Revelation, you know, the book all but basically confirms that Lucifer is Jesus at the end of the day, which I know is quite controversial, and a lot of people may come at me with pitchforks, but I don't care. You'll never be able to hurt me. No one can ever hurt me. That's the beauty of it. You truly become liberated by your own mind, by your own pain, by your own suffering. No one will ever hurt me again. I've known the kind of hurt that kills a soul. And no one will ever know the depths of hell that I've been to. Just me and the Lord, that's it. And so, I love Lucifer. Just like I love Jesus. Because we are all one. And we are all the same. All of us. I love Judas of the book, of the Bible. I love Judas. And I love Jesus. I love Mary. I love Adam. I love all. They're all a part of us. And Lucifer is no different, although it became mysteriously the devil. I have no idea how. Lucifer is in the Bible one time. Once.
And he is never, ever mentioned as being the devil. But in some way, people have gotten it twisted that he is the devil, when I knew that Lucifer was never the devil. Just because society tries to convey that someone is the devil doesn't mean that my heart can't see the opposite is true. That they are truly love, and they are a healer, and they are beautiful, and I believe in them more than they believe in themselves. So, I know it's controversial. The way I see life is always controversial. But I don't care. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to even like me. But I have to like me, and I have to care. So I want to speak it out loud and say that this is what I believe. I believe that there is so much grace and hope and mercy found in God, and that is what my twin flame will be finding out soon enough. And he will know that no one has ever loved him as deeply as I loved him. And that when I have to pull away because of that I love him enough to walk away. Nothing will make him change. Nothing will help him see the darkness that he is in until I pull my energy back. And I'm willing, because I love myself and I love the world. I want to help the world, and I love him, and I love love. And I'm not even doing it now to punish anybody. I would pull my energy back in a way to really teach people a lesson, that this isn't how you treat somebody. But it's different now. I'm pulling my energy back and giving it to me because I love me. It's not a punishment to anyone else. It's a reward to me. I'm going to achieve amazing things. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's true. And he's going to achieve amazing things. He's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And he's also the one that killed me. But he's so beautifully dark that you have no choice but to love the darkness. And one day, when he's the light again, I will love that too. Thank you for listening.